Well, I've been speaking to the author of that latest study into Zimbabwe's land reform programme, Professor Scoones from the Institute of Development Studies at the University of Sussex. He's been telling me what he discovered.
While we wouldn't at all deny that there have been some major problems, some serious abuses, violence, certain elites having multiple farms, what we focused on in our study, which was in the Masvingo province of Zimbabwe, was what happened on the vast majority of farms, which actually, to our surprise, and these were actually unexpected results, given the way that the Zimbabwe Land Reform has been reported more broadly, that there was actually a remarkable amount going on. People were producing, people were investing, people were accumulating, and agricultural production was getting going.
How does productivity compare to the past, to when these were white-owned, often very, very commercial farms?
Well, in the past, Zimbabwe had a very divided agricultural sector, as you say, with large-scale, often white-owned farms taking up the majority of the agricultural areas. And these were indeed highly productive. They were productive because of sustained investment and support over many, many years. These new farms are largely mixed farms, less specialised, less highly capitalised than the large-scale white farms that they replaced, but they are indeed producing quite a few important commodities for local consumption and indeed for the market.
Is it really possible to use the terms good or bad, that this is a good outcome or a bad outcome, bearing in mind the process in which these farms were seized off white farmers, often very, very violently?
Well, I think what we're looking at are the outcomes of this. I mean, the wider debate still carries on the processes by which this actually occurred. Everyone agrees that land reform was necessary at some point, and a large-scale land reform was necessary. The process from 1980, when Zimbabwe became independent, provided some form of land reform, but not enough.
This was a very corrupt process, though, wasn't it, the past few years? Often a lot of this farmland was taken off white farmers and just given to supporters of President Mugabe's ZANU-PF party.
Well, that certainly has happened, but in our studies what we looked at in detail, and that's important, it's important to recognise that a lot of these claims are made not on the basis of very detailed data. In fact, there's been an incredible paucity of detailed empirical data from the field. And what we found in Masvingo province, and again, it's not necessarily the case everywhere, was that the vast majority, around two-thirds, were ordinary people, mostly from rural areas, largely land poor, poorer, asset poor people who gained the land. There was also civil servants, some businessmen, and certainly some politically connected elites, no question, but probably in our sample, which was a sample across the whole province of around 400 households, around 5% of these could be put in that category of political cronies.
Professor Scoones, very interesting study there.